said, hey you, can I bum a cigarette? I don't smoke.
Welcome everybody to Small Town Big Gays. We are the gays who are too big for how small of a town this is. I'm Chance.
I'm Travis.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Just okay.
Yeah.
What's wrong? Who hurt you? I'll fight them.
Who didn't hurt me is a better question. Yeah, no, it's been those weeks where like I'm trying to think of the best way to describe this. Like you just feel like you have so much to do and no time to do any of it, but yet you do have the time, but you just don't want to do it.
I feel that on a spiritual level this week.
Yeah. Maybe it's like an ADHD thing.
Maybe.
Or an autistic thing. I don't know. But that's where I'm at there's a lot of like new and exciting things coming and like Pride's coming. So there's just like a lot of stuff on the dockets and I'm just overwhelmed by it all.
It's exactly how I'm feeling about the same thing, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. And like a little side tangent, not that probably anyone who listens to this maybe gives a shit, but like it's something I've been thinking a lot about lately. And I've had conversations with you privately about it, of just like how much work goes in behind the scenes of drag shows and planning events that people don't realize. And I'm just kind of like, I'm not tired of it because I'll always do it, but like I'm tired of it a little bit.
Yeah.
And like, especially doing it for free, which is not going to be happening anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not doing it anymore.
Stepping up her pussy.
Yeah, I'm going to start charging for my time. So if people don't like that, then they can step up there and give all their time away for free. You know?
Good for you.
10 years of doing it's more than enough.
Yeah.
Community service.
You've put in your time.
Yeah. And advocating for others too for their getting paid for their time for the things they do as well. So this is just a little warning to all the venues out there. I'm coming for you come September. Yep.
Starting after the break.
Yep. After
Smart.
our break.
Smart.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm great. Well, I'm good.
That's
Great.
Good. Yeah.
Busy. It was a busy week last week and I was feeling super stressed out. And then now I'm trying to unstress myself by getting a bunch of shit done. And I've gotten a lot of shit done for other things, but not the things that actually I make money off of, as in like planning Pride events for my job. So trying to do that tomorrow is going to be a big day for that. But I'm making to-do lists. I have to-do lists.
That's, a first good step.
That's the first. Yeah. That's the first step for me. Always if you feel stressed out, make a to-do list, and then also clean your desk. You can tell my desk at home is actually super messy right now, but you can tell when I'm out of control of my life by how messy my desk is. And then usually the first step for getting back in control of my life is I clean my desk, and it makes me feel better and makes me more organized. So that's on the list of things to do. Yeah.
I decided, not decided. I've been wanting to repaint my office and like / drag room. And I've been putting it off forever because it just involves so much moving of things. So I decided to take that on this week.
So you are painting it?
Yes. I have like one wall left to do.
Good.
And I decided to, on my desk, because it is like full of makeup and nail glue and just things. It just looked kind of shitty. So I decided to try putting contact paper on it.
How'd that go?
It was my 13th reason this week. I definitely had a mental breakdown and put myself into an anxiety attack over it. So I was up that morning until 3 a.m. thinking about it. And I was proud of myself because old me would have just sat and like redone it and made myself further frustrated. So I decided to wait for my friend to come help me the next day, which, sorry to this friend, they didn't help at all. So then I still had to do it myself later anyways. But, and it's like, I'm a perfectionist and I know this, but I'm a lazy perfectionist of like, I want to be perfect, but nothing I ever do is.
I think that might be an ADHD thing or an ADD thing.
It could be. because I get everything to about like 70%, 70 to 80%, which is like really great to most people, but it's not 100% great to me. So I'll hyper focus on the really stupid shit that no one will ever notice. So needless to say, the contact paper is down. It looks good, but it's like an 80% project where like I see little things that are really irritating me about it that no one will ever notice, but I hyper focus on. So yeah.
It's the same way with like my video. We're editing this podcast actually for a while. For the first 15 episodes, I would finish and I'd be like, this looks like shit. Everyone is going to think I'm shit and my production is shit. And now it's not perfect to me, but I'm over it because I'm tired of editing it by the end of it. And then, sometimes the episodes come on autoplay on my podcast app and they actually sound pretty good. So congratulations to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it makes you feel any better, I think it's great, but
thanks.
I don't know if I'm a judge of what that is.
Is anyone?
No.
But one day, hopefully soon, it'll be even better because still trying to find a studio space. We were talking about that before.
Yeah.
But the right thing will come when it comes.
Yep.
And then I'll come all over the place to mark my territory.
Let go, let God.
Yeah. Speaking of gross things like coming, relatively up top, I would like to address some controversies with the last episode.
Okay.
So our biggest fan from Nebraska, I believe, commented on YouTube and said, gross episode, 0 out of 10, do not recommend. And then someone else said, the amputation nonsense was hard to listen to. So we appreciate your feedback and we will take note of it. I'm not saying we're going to do anything about it, but
do you think, what did they say about the amputation stuff?
That it was hard to listen to.
Okay. I thought they said it was hard to swallow and I was like, well, probably is.
But crash.
Yeah, well, okay, so, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
And maybe we lost last week to some people, but maybe it was a winner to others.
I think it was a fun episode.
But I don't think we'll talk about anything gross today.
We'll see.
Yeah.
What are we talking about today? Also before that, someone else said that we got the gallbladder, like what it's good for. Gallbladders, what are they good for? We were wrong about what they're used for, but they didn't comment on anything or email us. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It was also Dionne Warwick was the person that I was thinking of who got into celebrity fights.
Love that.
So,
I don't know. Gallbladder has something to do with your bile.
Something.
What bile is? I don't know. I'm pretty sure.
We're not doctors. Email smalltownbiggays@gmail.com if you would like to tell us what a gallbladder is. Don't tell me while we're driving, Jake.
Oh, yeah. We could Google it too, but I don't care now. It's gone. It's out of my body. I don't care about it.
Who cares?
This week I wanted to talk about nostalgia.
Okay.
And then just like growing up in small town. I feel like we haven't really talked about small town life in a while. I feel like we've talked about a lot of sexual stuff and a lot of political stuff, but not really much about small town. And, it's in the title of our pod, so we should probably address it a little bit more.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So, yeah. Nostalgia. Growing up.
What are you most nostalgic for from your childhood?
Well, what kind of made me start thinking about it is I hardly ever watch TV up here in my living room. I usually watch it downstairs in my theater room or in my bedroom. And I don't know why I just started watching TV out here the other day. And there was this app, the Freevee app, and they had the Osbournes reality show. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And that is just such a nostalgic show for me of my high school years and what a big deal that show really was. Because it was one of the first celebrity reality follow around television shows. And I've been rewatching it and just cackling and loving it all over again. So it just started making me think of nostalgic stuff.
Who do you relate to the most in the Osbournes reality show?
No.
Ozzy? Because you're insane and old?
No, probably Sharon. Yeah, because I'm insane and old.
Yeah.
But a woman. Yeah, I just feel like she is the voice of reasoning amongst the chaos for the most part, but then also loves to antagonize the chaos at certain points as well. So I think that is pretty much sums up who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Trying to think of those reality shows that I watched. I did watch The Osbournes a little bit. Gene Simmons, his reality show. Notable piece of shit, Gene Simmons. And like Rock of Love. Do you remember those? Those like reality celebrity dating shows that would always end in just
nonsense.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
But it's cool to watch rock stars, make out with hot people.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a big, obviously growing up a child of the early 2000s when it really started kicking off. And yeah, as a also fat kid, I spent a lot of time watching television and not being outside, being athletic, and now I'm suffering for that.
Yeah. You're changing it now.
Yeah.
Did you ever fantasize about having your own reality show?
Yes, and this is slightly embarrassing that you bring this up because I grew up in this like duplex both sides at different points. Specifically lived in this side 1 year of my high school life, which I think was my sophomore year. And I was there. You'll probably not remember the show because it's very niche, but it was called The Michael Essany Show. It was on E! Television, and it was this guy, Michael Essany, who I think he lived in Valparaiso, Indiana, which is like a really random, smaller town in Indiana. But he had a talk show based out of his home, and he would like get like actually decently A-list celebrities to come through, like I'm assuming like on tours and stuff.
And just like stop at his home
stop
for
at
this
his
talk
home,
show.
and he would interview them for like a public access television.
Incredible.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. He was super weird, but it made my little self think that someday I could do that. And so then I decided to, wow, this is embarrassing, build a studio in my closet in the basement.
It's not embarrassing at all. That's super cute, actually.
And nothing ever happened.
Is it still there?
Well, the closet is, not the studio.
Okay,
but
so
I guess maybe it'll just be a round robin thing.
Yeah, let's just build a studio and fuck getting a studio. Fuck renting it. Let's just build one in that closet.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And I would send messages to D-list celebrities to interview them. And did I hear back from any of them?
Nope. But you tried.
I tried.
The worst they can do is ignore you. So congratulations. You put yourself out there.
Yeah.
That's super fucking cute, actually.
When it failed once, I think I told this story maybe once before, but my brother's bedroom was downstairs, and he was just, I love to torment him in different ways. And I put this like cloak on, and I lit a bunch of candles down there and pretended I was doing a seance, and then got mad at him, and I threw the hot wax at him, and then he beat me up.
Yeah. And that's why the ghost rat is still in this home to this day. That's adorable. I tried to be a YouTube star when I was a kid.
We tried, my friend and I did do a public access television show. We tried to. We recorded one episode, and it was really terrible, but I actually really want to see it so bad now.
I wonder if you could find it.
I swear one of my friends has it and is just waiting for the right moment to release it.
I thought about that when I first moved to Eau Claire, because like growing up in my small town, we didn't have a public access TV station. And in college, we basically did, because that was the TV program of my radio, television, film degree. But I wasn't really involved in the TV station. So when I moved to Eau Claire, I thought, what if I start a public access TV show? And then I never did. But you can just do that.
Yeah, you can also just start a podcast.
Yeah, and that's what we did. But should we move this podcast to public access TV? Will we get more or less listeners?
I don't know.
We won't be able to say swears.
Yeah, that was the biggest problem with our recording, is we had a lot of swearing.
Yeah. But
it was honestly pretty iconic. And all of the skits that we did. One I still stand by being a genius idea was I wanted to like spoof like the real world and like surreal life kind of things, where it was like reality television, but we all lived in a bathroom, and the
Okay. Here for it. Love it.
The confessional was in a stall,
Okay.
and we all like played a stereotypical character or celebrity at the time. And mine was, irony at its best, was a closeted gay man. And I think we had like one person was like a hippie, one was like an emo goth girl. We had my friend was a typical fat kid and was just always eating snacks. But the funniest thing is that we all pooled our money because we were broke high school kids to like get snacks for him to eat some of them. And then like the rest would be for us to eat because we didn't bring any food for the day. And he ate all of the food during that one filming. And then we all got pissed because we were hungry and there was nothing to eat the rest of the day.
Speaking of nostalgia and stereotypes, when I was in high school, I was in forensics.
Uh-huh.
What are you laughing
Just
at?
go, I'll tell you in a second.
Okay. When I was in high school, I was in forensics and I won gold at state. Was this for forensics? No, this was for the Visual Arts Classic, which was like a statewide art competition, whatever. And I entered the film part, the video part, whatever it was. And I made a short skit. The prompt was like about stereotypes. So I made a short skit starring my friend and his girlfriend. And he was a stoner kid, and my girlfriend at the time was the mom, and then my friend's girlfriend was she was a teen pregnancy. And I won gold for that stupid fucking skit of it was a Leave It to Beaver kind of 50s sitcom called You Kids Will Be the Death of Me. And it was I won gold for that.
I love that.
Okay, what were you laughing at?
I was thinking about when we were filming that particular segment, one of my confessionals was them calling me a and I was sitting on the toilet and we had a bunch of wigs that we stole from the theater department at my school. And I just like bent down and like put on this wig, and then I like stood up and I was like, they want I'll show them and was just wearing a wig.
Yeah, I wonder why this never aired.
Yeah, I know. Truly great television, just not for public access.
Truly, yeah. I think we should recreate this.
It was something. It was a really fun day, but yeah,
Certainly.
I think you would love it if you saw it.
I think I would. I think you should try to find it.
We filmed a couple other things too, because our high school had where you could check out video cameras, and so like I know for an English class we needed to film a project too, and we did something with Hansel and Gretel, and we filmed it in this house too, and then we did another one for theater class about a murder. I remember.
Cool.
I don't know if those were as good, but they could have been. I was just a creative that needed to just let their creativity fly.
You were. So did I. And I did that in the form of being 12 years old and making YouTube videos where I swore a bunch. And I was 12.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to emulate Shane Dawson. This was before Shane Dawson was problematic.
Sexually assaulting cats.
Yeah, before we knew Shane Dawson was problematic. And we all knew he was bi or gay, but he didn't admit it. But so I made all these YouTube videos swearing a bunch and calling my friend's parents. Same friend that was in that skit actually called his parents fat on YouTube, then got yelled at by my parents and had to take all the videos down and then refilmed them all without me swearing, and didn't call my friend's parents fat. I learned my lesson.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I didn't. Now I'm putting content on YouTube still. So
yeah, it's like now you can call them fat again if you want.
No.
Okay.
They're nice people.
Okay. Well, they apparently did something to piss you off that day.
No, I just thought it was funny to make fun of fat people at the time.
It is. Still is.
Now I know that as an adult when I'm with another fat person. So I don't make fun of fat people unless you do it first.
Okay. I do all the time. They deserve it.
I don't think I actually make fun of. I make fun of you.
I don't either, but
no, you do.
Well, I mean,
you do a lot.
It's just self-deprecating humor, though.
Exactly.
It's not actual.
It's not
malice towards any particular fat person.
despite what some TikTok comments think.
Yeah. No, it's just my own self-deprecating humor of hating myself.
But you're
Yeah.
working on yourself now.
I am, but I still always hate myself a little bit.
That's fair.
I think it keeps you humble.
I think it does.
Yeah. We should sometime maybe on the podcast watch my YouTube videos that I think are still up of when I was trying to be a beauty influencer before being a beauty influencer was cool. Yeah, I have a couple videos when I used to work at this makeup store in Minnesota of like demonstrating how to use the product, which they're probably so fucking cringy, but so hilarious. And I'm pretty sure they're still up on YouTube. I'll have to look it up and see. And then we can do a live reaction of you watching them.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Yeah.
I think we should make you a beauty influencer now.
I think people are over that.
No, I think it just changed.
Yeah.
You know, now it's on TikTok. They want these fucking short little minute-long videos of you doing transitions and now I have eyeshadow on. You heard me. Now I have eyebrows and I don't.
It's just so much work.
It is so much work, but that's why you have me. I do all the hard work. You just look pretty. I make money off of you somehow.
One day I was gonna because I really like to watch like people who are it all sorts of journeys, but in particular I have a large interest in people who are trying to like eat better and like do those kind of things because that's what I'm into. So I was like, I'm gonna do because I do get like anytime I tell people I'm doing things, I get a lot of questions about whatever I'm doing. So I was like, I could just film this is what I eat in a day. This is kind of like what I do to like get myself going on this journey. And I filmed myself one time, like talking about what I was eating. I was like, I am so embarrassed I could kill myself. And yep, then that ended that.
Making stuff is all about getting over that embarrassment and putting it out anyway.
Yeah, I know.
This is the way I look at it. So many people who one might think are like cringy or, whatever, that like we as watchers think are cringy. They're putting shit out and there are people who like it and they make money off of it somehow.
Yeah.
So that's all you have to do is you just got to stop worrying about whether or not it's cringy. To accept that one is cringe is to become enlightened, if you ask me.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Yeah.
Someday.
I made a rap when I was 12 too and put it on YouTube. I had no shame back then. And then I got bullied into having shame. And now I'm trying to be shameless again.
What was your rap about?
My brother is going to love this. The first line, I still remember the first couple lines, which I will perform for you now because I am now shameless. Can you give me a beat? I believe the first couple lines were, "Yo, this is Smith. I plead the fifth, though we don't have the freedoms it entails," because I was super into politics. I was super into whale wars at this time too. Jesus Christ, I was cringe.
Whale Wars?
Whale Wars. Do you remember that show? It was on like A&E, I think was the channel, but it was about the Sea Shepherd organization who were anti-whaling advocates. But so they would get on a boat. I just heard ghost rap, by the way. They would get on a boat and go and harass Japanese whaling vessels who were whaling under the guise of research, but like extracting tissue samples. But also the law says that if you kill a whale, you have to use everything. So they would do it under the guise of research and then sell the meat, which is very big in Japan. And I was really into whale wars at this time too. Yeah.
So you wrote a rap about whale war?
I wrote a rap about just being political or something. The title and the chorus were "Viva, Viva, Viva la Revolution." I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. You can't find it anywhere. Thank fucking God, because I deleted it back when you could actually delete things off the internet. And I hope people don't take that as a challenge and try to find my old YouTube videos. But if they do, we'll do a live react of you reacting to my cringe YouTube videos and
Be fun.
my rap, Viva la Revolution.
Viva la Revolution.
I don't think you can find it anywhere. And I'm going to look before we publish this episode so that
To make sure all traces are
to
gone.
make sure all traces are gone. And if all traces are not gone, this part will be cut. No. Because again, shameless. People want to go and laugh at me.
Yeah.
Great.
I once wrote a song for my grandma for her birthday.
Cute.
And I performed it in my mom's trench coat and a top hat that I won at the Valley Fair. And yeah, like on the keyboards you could get as a kid, they had like a demo button and it would like play a beat for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I made it the song to that beat.
Do you remember any of the lyrics?
I don't think there was many because I remember doing a lot of going grandma, grandma. So I don't know if there was much more to it than that. But I'm sure there was. And then I also recorded myself singing over this is so embarrassing, Tiffany's I Think We're Alone Now, and gave that to my grandma as a gift as well.
Adorable.
That song is really disgusting to be singing to your grandma.
Is it? I don't know.
I Think We're Alone Now. It's like about being alone with your boyfriend,
Oh.
like in a lover type way.
Yeah. Yeah, that is weird. You're weird.
Yeah, I really am. I did also, when in high school, wrote a song with a friend about our friends. And we had this one friend who we questioned their ethnicity because we weren't really sure and they never like had any proof. We should have just believed them, but it was pretty funny. And now they're a terrible person, so I don't really feel that bad about it.
Wild how that kind of parallels a certain modern journey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We'll let that be the reference for the week. People can figure it out.
Racially I can't say it, ambiguous people.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
For them. My husband's racially ambiguous.
Yeah.
A lot of people think he's Latino. He's not.
I probably would have wrote a similar lyric about him
Tom.
in this song. Yeah. Questioning.
Yeah.
It's just questioning. I look at it that way.
Yeah. Just asking questions.
Show me the receipts, as the great Whitney Houston said. That's what I want. Proof or it didn't happen. Yeah.
Wasn't childhood so much better?
I don't know.
Me neither.
I mean, I did have like a lot of good experiences as a child. Like I think I do have a lot of like really great nostalgic things and a lot of really good memories of like doing silly things with my friends. And we had a lot of good times. But also now I get to have those good times, but with money.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't
money.
know. My life is still exciting and fun like that, I think, just in a different way.
It's just the things that I'm most nostalgic for from childhood are being carefree. I think everyone is nostalgic for before they had to become, and not everyone has the luxury of getting to have like a carefree childhood, whatever. But I think most people who are adults now get to, or are nostalgic for, when you didn't have to worry about taxes and stuff. But I find that I have a lot of good memories from childhood, but a lot of the ones that stick out are the cringe ones. I don't know. I was a very cringy kid. Into a very cringy adult. When I was a freshman in college, I would walk around my dorm floor wearing a top hat whenever I was stoned. So, yeah, I hate myself pre-25.
Yeah.
Post-25, hate myself less. I'm awesome now, but yeah.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I hate you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Good to humble me.
I know. Well, and that's what I was thinking about when watching the Osbournes and thinking of nostalgia of like, so in the episodes I'm currently watching right now, Jack and Kelly are like 15, 16, 17. Like they're not 18 years old yet, but they're around there and they're just like out partying every night in LA and getting wasted and acting a fool, which is like so funny because I feel like a lot of kids did probably do that at that age. but I just didn't. But anyways, like the way they act on TV is just kind of cringy a little bit now. And I was like, oh God. And like, it made me thinking, you know, like of stuff that was filmed and forever, you know, put in those memories that you can't get rid of like, yeah, how cringy and weird you are.
Do you remember your first small town party?
Yeah. So I wasn't really like a party kid. I was kind of a goody two shoes. Like I was, in some ways I was, in some ways I wasn't. Like I was really afraid of drugs and alcohol because of
Dare.
Well, I was a big part of Be Free from Tobacco. It was part of my personality. No, just like seeing when you have parents who struggle with addiction issues, it kind of brings a different light to the stuff. I feel like a lot of kids either go one way or the other with that, and I was like, could not want anything less to do with it. And like I was very involved with church on my own accord, so it was like my own wanting to be that kind of a
goody two shoes.
A goody two shoes, yeah. Like I don't know, I liked being a goody two shoes, but but then like also wasn't because like I had like a weird unlimited access to pornography at that time because we didn't really have internet. So you had to get the old school, like either VHS tapes or like the actual magazines. And I had an uncle who was just like very open about like that with his kids and would just like give us.
Oh, you had one of those uncles?
Yeah.
Nice.
That would just like give us the magazines. Like they like tried not to make like sexuality like so like weird.
Yeah.
You know, and just like knew like kids would be like knew that we'd get our hands on it one way or another. So maybe like try to have a little more control over how it's coming in. I don't know. It's kind of a little weird to think about, but anyway, so I had unlimited access to pornography magazines, and so my friends would all come over to look at them because
to look at the nudie mags,
the nudie magazine day. And so like that was kind of weird, but like also kind of cool because I was like, yeah, I got a Hustler magazine. Come look at it.
So I assume it was all straight porn.
Yeah.
And see, still gay.
Still very gay.
Still very gay.
Yeah. Loved the penises in the magazines. But yes, my friends would come over to look at nudie magazine. So yeah, I was a goody two shoes. But so I remember my very first time ever being exposed to like a party with alcohol at it was actually at my house because my mom was the kind of mom that would go out on the weekends and leave me to my own devices. And so my friends knew that, so they came over and they brought the alcohol and they were all drinking and I was sober. Then actually my one friend ended up getting really drunk and he like puked all over his house and his mom came back to yell at me. And I was like, I didn't even drink. And like, this is your own kid's fault. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But, so I think a lot of my friends' parents thought I was like the bad kid because like a lot of my friends would use me to like, they knew my parents weren't going to be around and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was actually like, I never drank.
Your house became the party house against your will.
Kind of.
What did your brother think about this?
Well, he wasn't really around. He was out partying himself.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. He was out terrorizing cemeteries or other people, or he wasn't never really home.
Sounds like a Gorell.
Yeah. Yeah. But my very first time I ever like really drank without like my parents' permission, because like, you know, I like feel like when you're a kid, sometimes your parents are like, yeah, sure, try a sip of this or whatever, you know, was senior skip day in Black River Falls at a campground. And yeah, most of us were there and they were all drinking. And all of a sudden the like campground security guy showed up on his 4-wheeler and it was kind of raining out. And everyone thought they were going to get in trouble because we're all like 17, 18 years old, senior skip day at a campground in Black River Falls. And what does the security guard do? He starts getting everyone to chant like to the cut that never heals while chugging a beer. And then I chugged a couple Old Milwaukee, is that? Or Milwaukee's Best? Is that it?
They're both. Those are
Milwaukee's Best, I think.
Yeah.
Sounded like a worse one than Old Milwaukee.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, they're both bad. But
Yeah. One of those. Chugged a couple of those and then slipped and fell down the hill.
you chugged a beast and then took a tumble.
Yep. And then decided that was enough for me. Drove home with my friend who was drunk and he fell asleep at the wheel. And luckily I was awake and got him back awake and got home.
Good. Good for you.
Yeah, and then decided that was never for me again at that point. Mm-hmm.
I remember my first time drinking was I was working at McDonald's. I wasn't drinking at McDonald's. There's backstory. So I was working at McDonald's and I was on like parking lot duty going around and sweeping the trash. And I found like, I think it was $40 while I was sweeping the trash in the parking lot. And I took it to my friends who also worked at McDonald's because they were like the bad kids, which is ironic because they were from a very religious family. Well, it's not ironic, actually. I've come to expect that in my old age, but they're, okay, there's a little more backstory. So in my small town, New Lisbon, the town next to it is called
Old
Nisida.
Lisbon?
Yes, Old Lisbon. Nisida has a shrine.
Okay.
So back in the 50s, this woman claims that she saw the manifestation of the Virgin Mary.
Frida
Frida.
was the woman
Sure.
the shrine's made after.
Right. What?
Go ahead. Keep going.
Shut up. So there's this woman in the 50s in the town next door to mine saw a vision of the Virgin Mary and then built this whole like shrine around it. So that's it's like this, you walk through and there's different statues of this shit and they've been building this like giant chapel forever, like since the 50s. So there's people who go to this like church, the Shriner Church. We called them Shriners, but not like Zor Shrine. They were the Nisida Shriners. And my stepdad, who grew up also like around the same place, said that when they were like teenagers, they would go and drive through the shrine at night and the people would come out in like their little robes or whatever and look at what they're doing. But anyway, so working at McDonald's, found $40, took it to these Shriner kids because they were the bad kids because they grew up super religious. So of course they acted out. They bought me 2 pints of vodka and, or 2 like, they must have been like 750s. Anyway, bought me 2 like bottles of like shitty cheap vodka. And so me and my friends, I had some friends over and my parents were gone. And it was just like me and 2 other people. And we were just we bought those jugs of that shitty like Kool-Aid kind of stuff that comes in like gallon jugs from Quick Trip, like shitty juice. And we were drinking that and, vodka, like shitty vodka. And then my friend, we got hammered, like so fucking drunk. And my friend like leaned over the side of my bed and puked on the white carpet. And then I, hammered, cleaned it up, but then took some bleach because there was a stain obviously. And I bleached it and created a new spot that my parents never noticed or didn't say anything about, but they never said anything about it. And then they tore up the carpet in that room after, like long after I had went to college and I got away with it. And that was maybe like, I was working at McDonald's, so it must have been when I was 15. And yeah, that was my first like time drinking. But then my first party experience, I think it was senior year, and I drove out to my friend's house because he was having a big party at he had kind of permission from his parents, but we had this big bonfire and got drunk, and I was smoking weed at the time, so I smoked some weed, and then I passed out on their couch when his mom got home, and she like checked on me and made sure I was fine and stuff, and that was my first like party. Was me smoking weed and getting too hammered. Shocker. Story of my life.
And every year they say, take down the goddamn Frida sign.
I'm going to kill you. What are you referencing?
The only most iconic film to have ever been made.
Titanic?
Okay, fine. Second most iconic film to ever be made after the Titanic.
Ben-Hur.
Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Oh. God, I haven't watched that in so long.
That's a great one.
Yeah, it is.
Every year I tell them, take down the goddamn Frida sign.
Based in Minnesota.
Felicia will love that reference. And that's how we bring Felicia in this week.
Mm-hmm.
That rotted bitch.
Right, Drop Dead Gorgeous is the pageant in Minnesota.
Yeah. Yep.
Great film.
Yep.
Indicative of small town life, but with a
Very.
pageant. If you want to know what it's like to grow up in like Wisconsin, Minnesota, just watch Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Honestly.
Pretty fucking accurate.
Yeah, it really is. Great. Really a great movie.
Between that and like watching Fargo, the movie, like hearing the thick Minnesota accents,
Yeah.
and then being like, is that actually how we sound?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, maybe it's not always as extreme, but definitely for sure.
Yeah. My accent comes out really hard. You can tell I grew up in small town Wisconsin when I'm talking to some tradies. Not trade, but like, you know, tradesmen, people who work with their hands.
Oh.
Because it like a plumber or some shit. Because it starts coming out thick. Because I'm code switching.
Yeah. I totally just lost where I was going. It's okay. Yeah, growing up, small town.
Growing up in small town.
Nostalgia.
What's your what's your favorite thing about having grown up in a small town? Can you think of anything? That's a very broad question. I can't even think of an answer. So
I kind of like had two different growing up experiences of small town. So I grew up somewhat in Eau Claire, which is like a bigger small town, but then we also moved for a short period to another small town called Gilman, which was like from 60,000 to 400 people. And I like appreciated them both in their own ways. I think the like kind of cool thing about growing up in a really small town like that of like 400 people is that like there really isn't anything to do, so like you're kind of forced to like spend time with your friends and like have that. So like I do, from
especially back before the internet.
Yes, yeah, so. before the internet, and like even especially like at that point, like to get internet in the country, it was just not going to happen. Period. Yeah. So we had really no choice but to like hang out with each other, and so I do have a lot of like really great memories of spending quality times, like, you know, riding our bikes to town and going to the gas station and stealing candy and then going to the park and eating it and then swimming in the river and riding your snowmobile to school and like just weird shit like that.
Ride your tractor to school day.
Yeah. Yep. Ride your snowmobile. Most kids rode snowmobiles to school every day in the winter, which was fun. I loved it. My mom also, we had a big field next to our house that was ours. And my mom let us take her old car and let us like make a racetrack in it, and like would let us drive even though we were like 12. So that was fun. Yeah, I have a lot of like really great memories of like that kind of stuff. You know, rode our bikes everywhere, did whatever we wanted, had to be home. Really whenever.
Home before dark.
No, my mom didn't even care about that. No, just I guess at some point if you're alive, that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Back in the day when parents didn't care if their kids disappeared for a while. Now they're all so connected with their phones, you know?
Yeah. My mom in fact, my mom sometimes as a punishment for me was to make me go outside to get out of the house.
I remember being told when I was a kid to go play in traffic.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
I also love to argue with my mom. I like to feel right, and then I also don't like unresolved issues. So that led for a lot of trying to get my mom to see things my way, and her just finally getting annoyed with me and be like, "You need to go outside and get away from me." So that was my punishment a lot. I should have been in debate.
You should have.
It was a missed opportunity.
I also wish I had taken debate.
Yeah.
We could start a debate club now.
Yeah, we need to start our trap shooting league first, and then we can do a gay debate.
We can branch out. Yeah, when I was a kid, we used to ride our bikes. Just that was what we did for fun. I mean, 1,400 people in our town. So the worst part about it was that my stepdad was also a cop, and everyone knew my parents, especially because my mom was born and raised in that town. So, from a big family too. So everyone knew. So that's why I think part of the reason that I was a goody two shoes when I was a little kid was because I was terrified of my cop stepdad finding out that we did anything wrong, or and B, also like everyone knew who I was. So, but we would just ride our bikes around town. I remember there was like this little creek by the train tracks and some woods that we would go play in and like make forts. And then some kid ruined it for me and my brother because we were like, I must have been like maybe 7, 8 or something, maybe a little older. But we would go and play in these woods. It would be our secret spot. And then these other kids who were like dicking around told us that there was a ghost of an old man who got killed by the train and that you would see him, and that kind of scared us, and we didn't really spend that much time in those woods anymore.
Is it weird how you still show people your secret spot?
I show people a different secret spot. My butthole. Sorry, is that too gross for people?
Yeah, maybe. Gross for me.
Yeah. Well.
No, that's not.
Oh, there's also, I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, but me and my brother would ride our bikes out like 3 miles outside of town. There were these twin bluffs, literally called twin bluffs. And one of them they were limestone bluffs, so they had a cave in them. And legend has it that Black Hawk, the Sioux, I believe he was Sioux chief, hid from the U.S. Army in there during the Black Hawk Wars. And on the side of those bluffs is the best known example of a Thunderbird petroglyph in the state of Wisconsin, possibly the entire country, actually. I think it's just the state, though. But we would go and we would ride bike to that bluff and we would climb it and go in the cave. And a dude committed suicide in the cave in the 60s. And I spent like weeks at the library combing through the microfilm to try to find the news story of his death. And I eventually found it. So
just like Now and Then, the movie. Have you ever seen that movie?
Mm.
Oh my God, you were such a sheltered little child.
Yeah.
Christina Ricci, Rosie O'Donnell, Melanie Griffith, Demi Moore.
I know some of those names.
Iconic film.
What's it called?
Now and Then.
Did someone kill themselves in a cave?
Well, this little boy and his mother were murdered, and they ride their bikes to the next big town to go to the library to go through the like news stuff to find out what happened to him, because they were in a cemetery trying to do a seance. Cool. And the spirit contacted them of the little boy.
Cool.
You should. I feel like you would.
I should actually watch that.
Yeah,
that sounds great.
It's pretty good. Devon Sawa, honorable mention, one of my childhood crushes. Did you have any niche hobbies as a child? Or like interests? Hyperfixations?
I wanted to be famous. I wanted to be an actor.
Yeah, I think every kid wants that. Yeah. Well, maybe not every, but I think a lot of kids want that.
But wanting to be an actor, well, what was it first? Was it actor, magician, filmmaker? Or was it magician, actor, filmmaker?
Magician's pretty niche thing to be into.
Yeah, I was obsessed. Okay, if we're just talking about cringe stuff, it's less about, I feel like this episode is a little less about nostalgia and a little more about cringe, but it's a pretty good mixture of both. Other cringe things I did, I was obsessed with Chris Angel. Mind freak!
That really honestly makes sense to me.
Yeah, it does. It still informs a lot of my personality. It's why 90% of my wardrobe is black, probably, is because of that and emo culture and all that stuff. And black is slimming. But I was obsessed with Chris Angel, would watch the show religiously, owned 5 seasons of it on DVD, had his book, had some of his merch. One time, my brother had a bunch of his friends over, and I had a Chris Angel poster on my wall, and they shot it with a BB gun or an airsoft gun, and it left holes in my poster, and that made me cry. Because I was like 12, and then I wanted to be a magician, so I'd check out books from the library to learn how to do magic, and I had my first magic show at the local library, and it went, in hindsight, fine. At the time, I felt poor because there was one trick I remember specifically that you had this, it was a pen, and this was a magician's pen. So one side was like an actual pen, but then you take off the cap and put it on the other side. It was a double-sided pen, and the other side wasn't a real pen, but it had a magnet. So you take the tip of the pen off, rest of it with your hand, and then you'd stick it through like a dollar bill or something and connect the magnet so it looked like you stabbed the pen through, and then you could take it out and there'd be no hole in the dollar. Just revealed that secret. Don't come for me, Brotherhood of Magicians. But when I did that, there was a wrinkle in the dollar bill, and so the tip of the pen flew off. And and I was so fucking nervous. I must have been like 12 when I was doing this. But so I've always been a performer, really.
Yeah.
Haven't I?
Yep.
But that I recovered well from that because I was like, oh, it's a bit of comedy for you. Ha 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 ha. And then after the show, I went and sat in my mother's car and I cried. And then I didn't do magic ever again.
You should do a magic show now.
I've been thinking about it, honestly.
You should.
Thank you.
I'll support it.
Thank you.
I can be your opening act with a comedy routine.
You could be my
Assistant.
Ooh, my
that'd be
beautiful
fun.
assistant.
Yeah.
That would be incredible, actually.
Let's do that.
We should do that.
happen.
Maybe that'll be one of our Pride events next year.
Yeah. Yeah. I was a very weird kid who liked a lot of very niche things. Troll dolls. I had an obsession with that.
Gay.
I had a hyper fixation with Pretty Woman the movie.
Gay.
Lion King was a big one for me.
What part of Lion King?
I don't know. I just love the whole thing.
Okay.
Animals. I had a really hyper fixation for a while on saving the rainforest and would make signs and post them in my yard.
Just like me with
The whales.
whales, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Toucans and zebras specifically were
Were your big
favorite.
passions.
Yeah. And I think it's because they're very flamboyant and beautiful animals. So gay as hell.
I wouldn't necessarily say a zebra is inherently flamboyant.
Those stripes, come on. That's
True.
it's a gay horse.
True.
Yeah.
True.
What else was I? Oh, Beanie Babies. Huge. Loved.
Do you still have your Beanie Baby collection?
No, one of my cousins, little bitch, I think stole them all.
You know what's fucked up about Beanie Babies is when they first came out, they were like, oh, these are collector's items. They're going to be worth a ton of money. And then everyone realized, no, the fact that they pump so many out and say that they're collector's items and everyone has them means that they're worthless. And now they've kind of swung back around that if you have some like OG 90s Beanie Babies that are still have the tag on there and shit, that shit's worth money.
I had all of them, and I had all the McDonald's ones. I had them all. I stole a lot of money from my parents to get those Beanie Babies. And one of my bitch ass cousins took them all, I think.
We should hunt her down.
I know where she is. And you know what? Life hasn't been so kind to her, so she got what
I'm coming for you.
she had.
I want Travis's Beanie Babies back.
One of my cousins also stole my fucking bike and sold it.
Really?
My dad got my brother and I. This is a really my dad being I think nowadays they call them almond moms, but we're their parents who are hyper fixated on having healthy children.
Worked out well.
Yep. My dad's attempt to save his two fat children by buying them really nice bikes that they would use, which we did use. But my brother got more of I would say a bike for people who take biking seriously.
And a road bike?
Yeah, it was a trek bike.
Okay, yeah.
And then I got more of the cool, I got a Gary Fisher bike, which Gary Fisher at the time was the Tony Hawk of the bike world. He was the cool guy. And it was this really awesome all black bike with white tires.
Cool.
And my little cousin was obsessed with it and fucking stole it from me. And I'm pretty sure sold it.
Was it the same cousin?
Nope, different ones. My cousins were always out to sabotage me. And I will say that.
Apparently.
Always jealous of what I had.
We should kick their asses.
Well, I'll just say life hasn't been kind to most of them. The one who stole my bike, he's doing fine in life. And you know what?
It's all because he took the money that he got from selling your bike and used it as seed money for his tech startup.
I'm pretty sure he also stole, and I don't know how you can directly do this, but savings bonds too. I think forged signatures.
Interesting.
Yeah, I had a bunch of savings bonds for my grandma, and they're no longer in existence.
Interesting.
Yeah, he was a little shithead kid, but so was I.
He did that as a kid?
Yeah, we were all. The bike was I was in. I was probably a freshman.
And when were the savings bonds?
Around that time too, probably.
This is an entrepreneurial spirit right there.
Yeah. He
Good
was
f- you know what?
a little shithead.
Not going to kick his ass. Good for him.
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to kick his ass. He'd definitely be able to kick my ass at this point, but that's okay. I forgive him because I was doing my own demon things.
Shithead shenanigans.
Yeah. But yeah, then I got really obsessed with fish for a while.
Okay.
Like building fish tanks.
Cool.
Really weird thing, but
I think that's awesome, actually, because I would
Yeah.
like to get into that, but
yeah,
money.
I think one day, like, it's always been a dream of mine to have a saltwater fish tank, but it's a lot of money and a lot of work.
a lot of maintenance.
Yeah. So maybe one day when I'm really rich enough, I'll hire someone to just take care of it for me and I can have it and appreciate it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because fish aren't pets, they're scenery that you have to feed.
Mm-hmm.
I, one time, speaking of fish, when I was working in Tomah, Wisconsin, I would get high after my waiting tables shifts, and there was a Walmart right next to the restaurant I worked at. So sometimes I would get too high to drive home,
Mm.
and then I would go and just walk around Walmart. And one time when I was super fucking stoned, I bought 2 pufferfish.
Mm.
And Walmart should not sell pufferfish because they're meant to be in like a brine tank.
Yeah.
And then you buy them at Walmart, so you're like, oh, these are fresh water. So I had 2 pufferfish for a while, and then they both died.
I had one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved a good fish tank moment.
Mm-hmm. Kind of want to get a fish tank now. Don't have
Yeah.
anywhere to put a fish tank.
Same. I do like that. My one cousin, not one of the aforementioned cousins, another cousin on my other side of the family.
Also a shithead?
No,
Oh, good.
but we've always had really great memories together. And is living a good life. Is obsessed with fish now
Mm.
because she bought a fish tank to like thinking her daughter would get into it, and her daughter doesn't show that much interest into it. So now she's like really into it,
Mm.
and is kind of convincing me that maybe I should do it again.
I think you should do it.
Eh,
Just replace this TV with a fish tank.
I mean, honestly, I should, but
I want to get a
Okay.
fish tank because I want to get a fish tank now because I think it will also be like TV for the cats.
Mm.
But also then I have to, really make sure the cats aren't able to kill all the fish.
yeah.
But it would be really entertaining to watch them for a while.
Yeah, I feel like I would be really excited about it for like 2 weeks and then I'd get over it.
Yeah, and then you'd be, oh, I have to maintain.
Yeah, Felicia loves fish.
Does she?
I think she maybe only has one fish tank currently, but she was like the fish tank queen when I first met her.
Fish, horses, drag. What can't she do?
I have a list, but I won't say them.
My brother bought his new house and they came with a giant fucking like inset in the wall fish tank with these beautiful fish. Got rid of them all. Killed a couple first. The fish murderer. But then got rid of them all because it was a lot of work. I can't blame him, but I can because they were pretty.
Yeah, so needless to say, we were weird kids who became weird adults.
Yes, we
who
are.
found each other.
In the arms of... You're not that
I-
clammy.
Well, I'm not that clammy, but I'm starting to get
You have
calluses.
calluses? Oh my
from
God.
Working out at the gym, and now I feel bad that I judged you.
For having yeah. See?
Sorry.
And then don't get, I mean, maybe he won't be as much of a dick to you as he is to me about it, but don't get lifting gloves. Or if you want lifting gloves, I'll give you the ones that I got and then have been bullied out of wearing by our dear friend, Nick.
I already have lifting gloves
Okay.
from before, and I don't use them. And no, I don't. Maybe it'll help butch me up a little bit. It'll be my thing.
Yeah. Calloused queen.
The calloused queen. Ooh, in more ways than
Actually
one.
nice, yeah.
Yeah. Fuck Nick Noskoviak.
Fuck Nick Noskoviak.
He probably doesn't even listen anymore either.
This will be a test.
True. So if anyone is friends with Nick, don't tell him that we said fuck Nick Noskoviak.
Mm-mm.
And we'll see if he really listens, because if he does, he for sure will whine about it. So
Yeah. He'll for sure think of a way to get back at us.
I did say last week that the best way to get people to listen is to tell them we're talking shit about them. But I
Yeah.
think maybe the best way to find out who is supporting us is to talk shit
Is
about
by
them
talking
and
shit
then
about them
see
and then
if they
waiting.
listen.
Yep.
So Nick is now our second victim
Mm-hmm.
to fall to this. Felicia's our first, who clearly very much is not listening to any episode we've ever recorded. And in fact, we'll have to maybe even talk shit about her when we interview her slightly to see if she'll even listen to the one that she's involved in.
We'll cut in. We'll after she leaves, we'll sit and talk shit about her, and then cut that into the interview like midway through.
Yeah,
and
see if she notices.
Yeah, brilliant.
But yep, now Nick is our second victim to fall to that. So fuck you, Nick. And you probably wear lifting gloves, you little bitch. Yep. I think that's a great way to end this episode.
I think so too. Follow us on the things.
Yeah.
Email us at the place. Buy our merch. We don't have merch.
I have stickers.
You have stickers. We need to get stickers. I also think we should get hand fans.
Yes. I have a connection to them, but they're expensive, but we could do it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it.
Awesome.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Small Town Big Gays is hosted by Travis Gorell and me, Chance Smith. Our music is 1am by TYB. You can check out his music, links are in the episode description. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at STBG Pod. Find us on Facebook if you're a Facebook person. Email us at smalltownbiggays@gmail.com. And for more shit from me, Chance, go to strangehavens.com.
It's been nice to fall asleep again.